Because, one, Ryan Fitzpatrick knows how to turn the ball over. Yeah. 4 takeaways, 3 of them ruining scoring opportunities. And by the way, Mike Evans, congratulations on dropping that touchdown in the end, dropping that potential touchdown in the end zone. Good job, Mike Evans. You really helped Ryan Fitzpatrick there. And then a few plays later, what happens? A leaping interception. I just, things like that really kill me. And the fumble, too. They lose 16-3 to the Buccaneers. I just, it's amazing. Amazing that they lost in this fashion. And the turnover differential, for the Redskins improved to ±11 because of this failure of a day. Dirk Cutter is slowly but surely getting the axe with Tampa. Speaking of their opponents this coming week, the New York Giants go into San Francisco Monday night. Eli Manning with a 3-yard touchdown to Sterling Shepard with 53 seconds left in the clock. They beat the Niners 27-23, despite the fact that Matt Breida for the 49ers had 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Nick Mullins, unfortunately, just could not pull it off. Like he did in his first Thursday night game, defeating, the Raiders the way he did in that debut he had. But otherwise, the Giants really, offensive line did its job for the most part. And Saquon Barkley, getting a nice catch into the red zone too. That helped that winning touchdown drive. And then finally we end with the New York Jets. I was at that game with my mother. Because of a good friend of mine, Lloyd Thompson, season ticket holder. I got the tickets from him, and very thankful to the guy. He's a great person. Him and his wife, of course, Alberta, with the Little Victory Theater. Definitely check out some of the plays that they do. Really good local community theater projects and musicals that they do, not just themselves, but they also collaborate with Joe Simonelli for several plays, with Hemlock Theater Company, with Staten Island Shakespeare. So with all theater companies, and they really they do such a good job there. And Lloyd, thank you again for these tickets. He even texted me, I'm sorry that you had to go to that disaster of a game. And believe me, it was a disaster. On the first play of the game, Robert Forster gets a 46-yard pass over Tremaine Johnson. He was supposed to be the highly touted cornerback the Jets signed for an average of $15 million a year. And he gives up a pass like that to a team. This was a team coming in, the Bills, with a combined 96 points, lowest in the league, that went from quarterback to quarterback like they were changing draws. And they went to Matt Barkley, a guy who hasn't started a game in 2 years since the last game of the 2016 season with the Bears. And they made him look like Joe Montana. I'm sorry. The reason I grit my teeth a little bit, because if you were a Jet fan and you saw this nauseating, disgusting, deplorable excuse of a game, you would be feeling the same way I have felt. Me and my mother. You know what we did, and most Jet fans did, that have not done most of the time, or a few times? We left before the first half ended. It was a mass exodus of fans. And for my mother, it was actually good because she had to do some Thanksgiving shopping, which is, by the way, coming up. So for all my viewers out there, I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving. But anyway, in terms of this game, after that touchdown pass, LaShawn McCoy, who came in with a league low 270 combined rushing yards, I felt like I was watching him as a Philadelphia Eagle, ripping off 113 yards, a pair of touchdowns, including on the first initial drive of the game, and then a 14-0 lead on a fluky play. 3rd and 7 from the 11. Jones caught pass, takes 10 yards before fumbling, reaching the goal line. Jason Kroon recovers. How come the defense didn't have the wherewithal to recover that ball? That could have changed the game right there as well. And then here's the crazy part. The 14-play, 73-yard drive. All right, it's 4th and 6 from the Bills' 47. You think they're about to punt the ball, but then all of a sudden, Logan Thomas, their tight end, who was a former quarterback at Virginia Tech, lines up in the pocket, takes the pass, throws a 19-yard to Robert Foster down the first right sideline for a first down. The drive continues, unfortunately, leading to a LaShawn McCoy touchdown. It was so bad the Jets were outgained 186-1 in this game. The Jets lost 41-10. 41-10, and Josh McCown, who is in the game replacing Sam Darnold, who unfortunately had a walking boot due to the the previous week's game. Unbelievable. I know. It's really well, none against the Dolphins. Well, he couldn't play this week. McCown did, and he was stinky. 2 interceptions. This was a guy who didn't have a single snap in the regular season. Only had 39 in the preseason, and this is what he produces when he had a career. Last year, he actually had a banner year for his career, and this year for this one game, which was regrettable to see him. I feel bad for most Jet fans. And not only that, the only good thing about that game, we watched a world record be eviscerated. For 1 minute pull-ups. That's right. Who can do the most pull-ups in 1 minute? And this guy did 62. And the fact that I got to enjoy this with my mother, who I love very much, and us tailgating in the parking lot. That was maybe the only good things. Oh, and of course, the salute to veterans, because after all, they are, and these brave young men and women, they are a testament to our country. So nothing but the utmost respect for all of our men and women of our armed forces. All right, now let's go into the week. That is week 11 coming up. Bills right now riding high on that victory over the Jets. The Cleveland Browns needed that win against the Falcons, so they're going to make teams work for it, and they have the most takeaways in the league at 25. Dolphins right now need to work on a lot of things. The Patriots will overcome that loss because, after all, nothing gets them down. The New York Jets, after 4 straight losses, they got the Pats. The Pats are going to work out their frustrations on them. And finally, the 49ers. Well, the 49ers are just that terrific. Okay, let's go into the games quickly. Packers, Seahawks, last night. All it took was Russell Wilson snapped him. There was an 8-yard pass to Ed Dixon in the end zone, giving them a 27-24 victory in the game right here. And, the Packers, the fact they didn't go for it on 4th down, even after Rodgers had that fluky pass on 3rd and 2, they should have went for it, but McCarthy decided not to go for it. And the fact that Chris Carson ripped off 2 consecutive runs that gave the Seahawks first down, and basically this game-sealing plays of the game. Now let's go to In the Neighborhood. And McCarthy the reports he may not even be around next year. That could be a shocker right there for Packers Nation. Now, In the Neighborhood. Giants being visited by the Buccaneers. The one person to keep your eye on, Jason Pierre-Paul, who's going to have nothing but revenge on his mind against his old team. Will he get his revenge and knock Eli Manning several times? Or will the offensive line do its job, especially the fact they don't have to worry about Levante David from that linebacking core because he won't be able to play this week? Well, I'm thinking the Giants have this game. I'm going with them to win 24-7. I think we're going to see more turnovers from Fitzpatrick and expect to see Jameis back in the field again, because it doesn't matter who you put in, they're both turnover-prone machines. The Monday night thriller in Los Angeles. Chiefs, Rams. Originally supposed to be at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Didn't meet NFL standards on the field. Moved back to L.A. So, in this game right here, offense versus offense. Which defense will drop the ball and give up the biggest plays? I think the matchup to look for is Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Chiefs, against Marcus Peters, cornerback for the Rams. That will tell you everything you need to know. Winner of that match wins this game. I'm going with the Rams to keep on winning, despite the fact that Cooper Kupp's not there. But with Todd Gurley, And the other thing, too, to look at, Todd Gurley and Kareem Hunt, the two running backs, who will be able to pound the rock more and keep the opposing offense off the field longest. But I still got the Rams winning. All right, Sunday night. Well, the game that was flexed to Sunday night. Vikings-Bears. This has first place in the NFC North at stake. This is a Bears team that has been the best version of itself in a long time. When they were, for 4 consecutive years with John Fox, in the NFC North basement. Now with Matt Nagy directing this team and Trubisky and company and Khalil Mack on the defense. But you got a Vikings defense that you got to worry about too. So this is a tough one to pick. But the Vikings, 5th in total defense, I don't know about this one. Trubisky made his debut the last time against them, and he got picked off by Harrison Smith. Something tells me that the Bears are going to correct all that and win at home. I got Chicago winning this one. And the fact that the Bears got a tough 5-day stretch this game, and then Thanksgiving in Detroit. Whew. Eagles, Saints, another interesting matchup for Week 11 right here. But at the same time, you got Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, who both had over 100 yards receiving last week. Who do you cover if you're the Eagles defense? If you couldn't even take care of Ezekiel Elliott, who's just one person, yes, you got Prescott made some good plays on the ground, but just one really dynamic back in Ezekiel Elliott, what makes the Eagles defense think they're going to be able to stop the likes of Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram II? There is no way. For that very reason alone, and with Drew Brees having the career year he's having, and the fact that the Eagles have lost Ronald Darby II to a torn ACL, Brees is going to have a field day against that Eagles secondary. Of course, I got the Saints. Now, Texans, Redskins right here. Texans have been hot, winning off 6 consecutive victories after 3 straight losses to begin the year. First time since the 79 Giants have done that. And now in first place in the AFC South. Against the Redskins, first place in the NFC East. This is the 5th overall meeting. Both teams have 2 victories each. This will settle that tie. Now, who will actually get the tiebreaker in this one? I like the Texans in this one. I think they continue the gravy train going. And the way that they play, the way the Redskins played last week against, especially the defense against the Buccaneers, they were lucky to win that game. Consider yourselves lucky that you only held them to 3 points, and the fact that the Buccaneers made a lot of mistakes in Redskins territory. That's not going to be the same for the Texans team with Deshaun Watson. Next game right here. Baltimore Ravens hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. First time since week 2 on Thursday night when the Bengals had a 34-23 victory over the Ravens. 4 touchdowns by Andy Dalton that game, 3 of which went to A.J. Green. However, problem, A.J. Green not playing this week. So therefore, that is going to limit Dalton, who he can throw to. That's why they're going to, again, another week in which the Ravens are going to box 8 people in, force the Bengals to win with Joe Mixon. Who knows if he'll be able to really carry the team, which I think is going to be is going to really blow up in their face. And this is a Ravens team that may or may not have Joe Flacco because he has that hip injury from 2 weeks ago, even though they are coming off the bye, but still there are reports that he may or may not play. Are they saying that to throw the Bengals off to game plan against him and possible first ever pro starter? Lamar Jackson? Or is this for real? And Lamar Jackson, because they're going to have to do a lot of run option plays, a lot of read option, if it's Lamar Jackson with the occasional pass plays. But I still like the Ravens in this one to end the bleeding that's gone on with them. Ravens in this one. Cowboys, Falcons. This right here, both 4 and 5 teams, this is the season on the line for both these squads. And they know it. With a loss here, and the fact that Cowboys had to not only play the Falcons, but then they have to go on Thanksgiving at home against the Redskins, that's a tough stretch right there. But they're coming off a beautiful Sunday night victory in Philadelphia, while the Falcons, a humiliating loss on the road in Cleveland. I don't know how you lose to Cleveland is beyond me, but Matt Ryan company did. And the fact is, they are the 27th ranked defense. They're 21st against the run. Yet they gave up 211 yards. Most of those went to Nick Chubb. And now you got to face another guy like Ezekiel Elliott. Something tells me Falcons are going to correct those mistakes. I got Matt Ryan and company winning at home. Titans, Colts, both these teams are very hot right now. Both looking to try and catch up with the Houston Texans in that contentious AFC South. A victory in this game gives them that potential leg up. Luck and company have gone on 4 consecutive wins. Nobody has been allowed to get in Andrew Luck's face in that streak at all. 10 touchdowns to 1 interception. That's why he's done so well. As opposed to, and not only that, how about the Titans trying to end the streak? They've lost 7 straight games. Yeah, they have lost, several, 9. They're 0-9 all time against Andrew Luck. Will they finally be able to beat Andrew Luck as starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts? And I say no. I like the Colts in this one. Again, I think Marlon Mack and company I think he's going to be a big factor for the Colts this time around, even with that Titans defense. And, especially with Racco and Jarrell Casey, I still like the Colts in this one. Next game right here, Steelers visiting the Jaguars. Let's not forget, these two faced each other in Pittsburgh twice. In the regular season, in which Big Ben was intercepted 5 times in that one game. And then in the divisional round, in which the Jaguars beat the Steelers 45-42. And one of the biggest upsets that led, of course, the Jaguars to the AFC title game, which they lost to the Patriots, who then went on to lose to the Eagles in Super Bowl 52. But getting back to this game at hand, originally it was supposed to be Sunday night in Jacksonville. But because of the fact that the Jaguars have lost 5 out of their last 6, 5 of which in a row, and they've been really stinky offensively with Blake Bortles, that's why it's been flexed back to a 1 o'clock game. Even though, yes, the Jaguars have a top number 2 defense, and number 1 against pass, it's the offense that has killed the Jaguars defense. And that's why it's going to happen yet again. Look for James Conner to have possibly his best game. But I love the matchup between Jalen Ramsey and Antonio Brown. That will be interesting to look out for. Carolina Panthers, Detroit Lions. 2 teams going in opposite directions. Stafford's been sacked 16 times the last 2 weeks. That's bad news against this Panthers defense right here. But the fact is, you're going against a Panthers defense that gave up 52 points last week. So both these teams are hurting and need a victory this week. I like the Carolina Panthers in this one. In Detroit. Give me Cam Newton company, especially. I'm thinking he's going to throw 4 touchdowns in the game, 2 of which to Christian McCaffrey, who's been the bell cow in the backfield, out of the backfield. I like it. I got the Panthers winning. And the fact that they traded Golden Tate, really mistake right there for the Lions. But they did what they had to do. Broncos, Chargers. This is not... I'm not even going to question this game right here. The Broncos right now are just barely floating by. They're going against a hot Chargers team that has won 6 games, and they haven't even had Joey Bosa 1 single game this year. Well, that's about to change, folks, because I think he's going to be making his 2018 regular season debut, and you got him and Melvin Ingram together like they did last year. They were one of the toughest defensive end tandems in the league. Yikes. Yikes for Case Keenum and that offensive line, if you call it a good offensive line, to protect him. The few good, but at the same time, we can't dismiss the Broncos defense when you think about it. You have Nick Chubb, Bradley Chubb, the rookie, 8 sacks in this year with perennial Pro Bowler Von Miller, 9 sacks. So I think this could be the matchup of which pass rush will come to play and have the biggest impact. I still think the Chargers, they'll pull this off. Melvin Gordon is going to be running 170 all-purpose yards. And lastly, the worst game of Week 11, the Raiders and the Cardinals. Let me say that again. Arizona Cardinals hosting the Oakland Raiders. These are two of the worst teams. I wouldn't say, but definitely in the bottom 5, of teams. And the Oakland Raiders right now are just looking to lose for that number 1 pick. They got 3 picks coming their way in the 2019 NFL Draft. The deal that they made with the Bears for 2019-2020 first-round pick. The deal they made with the Cowboys in them giving up Amari Cooper for the Cowboys' first-round pick in 2019. And theirs. They are going to be a different team come 2019 with 3 potentially impact rookies playing for them. But for now, the way things are going, the fact that Martavis Bryant has a knee injury, Jordy Nelson has a knee injury too. They let Amari Cooper go, and they let Khalil Mack go, and that's why they don't have a pass rush. They released Bruce Irvin. Now he's with the Falcons. I mean, how do you do this stuff? And yes, they're going up against a Cardinals defense that lost Denzel Perryman for the season because of a knee injury. Otherwise, though, I actually think this will be the first non-San Francisco 49er win for the Cardinals. Why do I say that? Because the 2 wins they have in the year were both against the 49ers. So that's why I think the Cardinals actually come out right out of the gate, and Larry Fitzgerald is going to make a mincemeat at this patchwork secondary that they have going for the Raiders. And I think Patrick Peterson this time, it doesn't matter, even though he was average last week, I think this week against a schlemiel Raiders offense, I think, he'll be able to defend any of those receivers. And whoever the running back is, and that's a big question mark for the Raiders, who is their running back? And what kills me, in the beginning of the year, the Raiders were in games. They came out of the gate with first half leads and all of a sudden fell apart in the second half and couldn't finish. And then there are games where they just totally gave up on themselves. And then the 49ers game on Thursday night, in which they gave up 34 points and scored 3. And there were so many games you could point out to the Raiders this season that have made you want to nauseate, including their only victory against the Browns that the referees honestly gave them that game, which they should by all rights be 0-9 this year, following in the footsteps of the Cleveland Browns from last year, or the 2008 Detroit Lions, wink, wink. No, but in all seriousness, I feel for Raiders Nation. These are proud fans, some of the best traveled fans besides the Steeler Nation fans. And this is what is before them. Now, here's the question to the Davis family. Are you sure you wanted to sign John Gruden to a 10-year, $100 million deal? Is he worth all that money? Or was this just a publicity stunt for Las Vegas? Right now, it's looking like the former for this year. But in the years to come, with these draft picks, the 5 draft picks coming their way in the next 2 first-round picks in the next 2 years, can this organization be an overnight sensation and be the type of team that Oakland and then future Las Vegas will be someday proud of? Well, again, remain to be answered. That's what I meant to say. Well, folks, with about 3 minutes to go, I want to make some theater announcements. There are auditions coming up for Judgment Nuremberg, the classic American series production that's being done by Staten Island Shakespeare, November 30th and December 1st. If you are on Facebook, you can contact either Mitch Maglio or Amy Paleo on the details, or go to the Staten Island Shakespeare Facebook page. I believe they're on Twitter, or their website, sishakespeare.org. And currently in production right now in terms of rehearsals, Annie, in 2 weeks, will actually be on stage by In the Wings production, November 30th to December 2nd, and December 7th to 9th. And there's also Jacob Marley's Ghost being done at the Conference House by Staten Island Shakespeare. I believe the first weekend will be the 6th to the 13th, and the And I forgot the second weekend, but I'll get my dates. I'll get you those dates better for next week. Also in production running, there's going to be Steel Magnolias. That's going to be done by the Little Victory Theater at some point, I think, next year. And Hemlock just announced their 2019 schedule, including Tuck Everlasting, Blood Brothers Company, and they're doing a trivia night. And Spotlight are having auditions coming up for Mamma Mia, I believe, November 30th as well. All right. Oh, and I want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to Hemlock on the latest play they did, American Idiot, the Green Day play. Entire cast was wonderful, great. It was thrilling to see it. The fact that they went an hour and a half without a single intermission, that's just extraordinary, and I give my hat off to them if I had a hat to give up, but I give them a lot of credit, and I think it was just remarkable. So congratulations to all you guys. And congratulations to Christopher Campbell, who was roasted this past Tuesday in the first annual roast by Staten Island Shakespeare. It was really fun being there, seeing a lot of my friends that I've done plays with in the past, and hopefully we'll do plays with them in the future, and of course with all the good people at Staten Island Shakespeare. All right, so for all the hardworking men and women at CTV, for Mr. Kenny Graham and Mr. Jamie Hickson behind the booth, I'm Eric Rosen. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Blitz Zone here on CTV. Have a wonderful and happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Bye. Peace and love, Staten Island. Peace and love.